Hey guys, Jamiy, and today on Roblox we're playing small Loomian, like I said, as you can see on the screen right now. And today we're going to talk about some new rally moves that'll be in the game alongside with the part 2 of the Valentine's event, which will be hopefully this weekend. We'll have to wait and see. But basically, every time that we do like an update, I will try and get some more moves in, like for rally moves or like just some balance changes. With like smaller updates, even though like a lot of the events in the past have been really big, but with that being said, like T-Badem has to spend a lot of time working on the events, so I don't want to take him away from like work on the events just to do some balance changes. So for like balance changes, I usually wait for like actual game like adventure mode updates. Like so for the next balance changes will probably happen with the beach update, but I will mention a couple of them. So for example, I did show that Duskit's secret ability, if you don't know where it actually is, it's called Mean Spirited. Back when it first came out, it was actually a 50% boost. Basically, if the opponent was asleep, you would get a 50% boost, which was really nice. And honestly, it seemed like kind of like really too good when the game first came out. So we decided to nerf it to 20%. Although now, recently we've actually changed how the sleep mechanic works, and that if the opponent is asleep and you hit them for so much damage, they will instantly wake up, which kind of makes Duskit's secret ability kind of useless, because yeah, that 20% damage is nice, but you're not really getting much out of it, especially because it only works once, and then you have to like hypnotize them again, so I'm going to revert it back up to 50%, and honestly, Duskit is right now, I'd probably say the least impressive, like, roamer. Is like, it's just the worst roamer, I would say, right now, in terms of what it does, so hopefully this will help it out a little bit. Other than that though, I want to change as well Fungus Curse, but like I said, Low's like balance changes will come out with the beach update, not the specific update, but I will like let people know and get like their opinions about them. Anyway, going over the rally moves, we've got a few Loomians with some new rally moves, okay. First off is going to be Florent, which is going to get Life Drain. So basically, how I like to like do things like this time, I've tried to go over a lot of Loomians that just don't really have like a lot of coverage, or like they're like missing a lot of moves. Like yeah, a lot of these Loomians are probably going to get some of these moves as later level up moves, and I'll just probably like take them away from the rally moves, because right now they're just like kind of meh. But anyway, Florent is finally getting Life Drain. Like I said, it was actually going to be a level up move, and also I don't have my normal PvP Florent. I think I traded it to my alt account when I was doing the Steel Crusher videos, so here's an Alphorn instead. But yeah, right now for like attacking moves, yes, actually its range attack stat is higher than its melee attack stat, but we actually run Parasitize, because that was like the only move that I had that could actually heal itself, so we would run Parasitize, and it was actually would help us for stuff like Eclipse whenever Eclipse first came out. Although now with like the Route 8 update with a lot of stuff like water types, Life Drain I feel like could be a pretty good move as well, and you can actually hit harder on your range attack side, so there's that. So again, Life Drain, some people might change it, but you have to be careful, stuff like Malmurk still, and probably still like Bloat Tox as well. Those probably aren't really going to take any damage, but hopefully this helps Florent out a little bit. It's probably not going to help it out too much. I feel like people aren't really going to run it still, because yeah, Bug Plant isn't exactly the best typing, let's be honest, especially defensively, and it's a more defensive Loomian. Next up is going to be Ventation. This one I think is like 50-50. 50% of people are going to love it, 50% of people are going to absolutely hate it, and they're confused. So basically, we have signature moves in this game, okay? So Gaantus has a move called Battering Ram, which is a signature move. Now I have said, not every signature move will remain a signature move. Some signature moves will get given out later if it makes sense for something to get it. An example of that is Wobblesk having Talent Trade. It is the only Loomian with Talent Trade right now. More things in the future will get that. But Ventation is going to get Battering Ram, which I think will help it out a little bit. It doesn't have like any offensive presence. It just has Geyser, and it basically fishes for burns. That's all that it really does. So Battering Ram is going to help it out a little bit, I think. I mean, yeah, its melee attack stat sucks, but same as Gaantus, Battering Ram doesn't use melee attack. It uses your melee defense stat, which honestly, rightfully so, people are a little bit scared. They think, oh, that is a really high melee defense stat. It's going to be absolutely overpowered. And honestly, it's actually not. Yes, if you look at like Gaantus's melee defense and Ventation's melee defense, Ventation has the higher melee defense, but Gaantus has this ability called Trash Armor, and actually, once you calculate Trash Armor alongside its 90 melee defense, it's like almost equal to Ventation's level of defense, like a little bit lower. But what gives Gaantus the edge is that it gets a stab bonus, so Battering Ram gets a 25% stab bonus, whereas Ventation doesn't. So it might sound scary, but honestly, Battering Ram is going to help Ventation. It isn't going to be overpowered, and also Ventation's range defense completely sucks, so it still doesn't want to stand against a lot of things anyway. It's kind of like similar to Gaantus in that sense, but Gaantus is really, really quick. Ventation isn't very quick. So yeah, hopefully this will help Ventation out a little bit. Like I said, it's not going to be overpowered. It's still like two-shot a lot of things, like even Tatab, for example. You still have to two-shot that, so there's that. Along that, it does get Brace as well, so you can probably see a lot of people running Brace Battering Ram, kind of similar to how we run Burrow Battering Ram on Gaantus. That would probably be like pretty fun to use. So it actually might help Ventation out a little bit. Next up, we're going to talk about a Riptodon. So there's been a lot... It sucks. Honestly, it really sucks. A Riptodon is basically right now just outclassed for everything by Infernix. Infernix is quicker. Infernix has more range defense. Infernix has more range attack. It has the exact same energy. The only things that a Riptodon has that are actually better than it is a melee attack and health, maybe? It's probably not even that. It's like just melee attack. So a Riptodon just completely gets outclassed. So I'm giving it Magnify, which will hopefully help it out a little bit in compared to Infernix. Infernix isn't going to get Magnify, it's just going to have Peace of Mind. So that means a Riptodon has a little thing that I guess can help it out more than Infernix, is that it can get immediate power with one Magnify. Not a lot of things in the game wants to take a +2 Fire Breath Pyro boost to the Riptodon with a Fire Essence on top of that as well. So many boosts, so hopefully that helps out a little bit. I mean, stuff like Luminami that quad resist it, like, aren't going to be like pressured by it too much, but like stuff like Obsidian just like normally resist it, it's going to absolutely do an absolute butt ton. So that'll hopefully help our Riptodon out. I will say there was talks about potentially changing its range attack stat for its melee attack stat, just making it a melee attacker instead, which I do like that idea, but I don't want to encourage, oh, because this Loomian gets outclassed by another Loomian, that means I need to change its space stats. I don't think that's the entire... I shouldn't like need to do that just because that's going to happen a lot then. So I don't really want to do that right now, although I'm not saying in the future it might always remain like that. I potentially could change it to a more melee attacking oriented Loomian in the future, but right now, just because one thing outclasses it doesn't mean that I feel like I should need to change it, because that's like just a bad like mentality to have, I feel like. On that though, next up we have is going to be Icicle. Icicle's going to get Rejuvenate, which it's going to help it out for like tankier versions. I mean, Icicle has like some pretty decent defenses for this game. Actually, pretty good defenses, honestly. And its typing is like alright, I guess. But the issue with Icicle and Rejuvenate is that it's going to be a little bit hard to like fit on its moveslot. So right now I actually have 2 attacking moves, Icicle Shots, Bane of Haste. Because I was actually running this on a doubles team or a 2v2s team. But if you're running it in 1v1s, you're most likely just going to run Bane of Haste, Icicle Traps, Chili Chomp, or whatever move you want, and then Health Gift, so they can get Bane of Haste up, and then Health Gift into another Loomian, so they can just instantly get in for free without taking any damage. They get healed if their area was damaged, and then they just get as many turns of Bane of Haste as they can get. But with that being said, that means you have no move slots for like Rejuvenate, and if you're going to Health Gift anyway, do you really need Rejuvenate? So I feel like Rejuvenate would be more useful on like 2v2 and doubles Icicles, but I mean, for 2v2s, I guess you still could run, or doubles, you could still run Health Gift, but I think you would rather run Rejuvenate, because it's not only Icicle making the utility of Bane of Haste, it'll be your team as well, so I think Rejuvenate will be more of like a doubles Icicle, unless you want to run like a bulkier Icicle for your team without health gift, so there's that I guess, but that's Icicle. Gonna help it out a little bit, I hope. Next up is gonna be Diabolog, which honestly Diabolog has been like, I would say it's pretty decent. I won't say it's bad, it's really annoying with Poison, Hypnotize, Barter with Heavy Shackles, and by the way these are all priority moves. The only like issue with Diabolog is that it didn't really have like any offensive presence. It only really had like Graffiti for range attack stat, which I mean is not terrible, but it's not good. And then for melee attacks, I think it like somewhat recently got I always forget the move name. I always forget what it's called. It is called Steel Crusher. Definitely didn't have to look it up. But basically, it got Steel Crusher, which is helping out a little bit for the melee side, but I'm going to give it some more moves to help it out for the range side as well, and potentially for the melee. It is like lacking a good melee poison move, but we don't really have a good melee poison move, so we've got to wait for that one, unfortunately. But anyway, for Diabolog, I'm going to give it Metal Blast and Muck Blast. So there you are, a Bear Poison move or Bear Toxic move and a really good range metal move as well. And then for the melee side, it's going to get Mega Punch, so you can have like Mega Punch and Steel Crusher. I feel like that'll be still like pretty decent at least. But it's still like lacking a good melee offensive poison move, but we just don't really have any right now. I think our best one is like what, Venom Chomp? Yeah, don't think Diabolog's really going to be getting that one. So hopefully those 3 moves will help it out a lot for like offensive presence. I mean, he has like decent, I mean not super good offensive stats, but I mean you can still use them, and it also has power focus as well, so I mean there's that as well. So you can run like a more offensive with like Barter Heavy Shackles if you still want to. Next up is going to be Arpaigo. Honestly, Arpaigo really sucks. I mean, this is its entire moveset it has right now. Tsunami, Frost Beam, and along that you have to use Rant and Dodge. This is really it. So helping out a little bit, I did say I want to give Arpaigo Thunderstrike. That'll probably maybe be a move manual at some point, if we can get Thunderstrike as a move manual. If not, it'll probably get it later as a rally move, I guess. But for right now, I'm going to give it Rejuvenate, which, I mean, it has like decent defenses and pretty good health, so I think it can actually run Rejuvenate pretty decently well. Along like some of its abilities as well. Like I think it's got one ability, I forgot what it's called, but basically if you're poisoned or something, you swap out, it will cleanse it, which I thought would be really, really good. And along that, it has Dark Surge, so just like a straight up buff to Rant, so you can now have Dark Surge, which is going to be really, really nice. So you actually have 4 actual good moves? No way! So yeah, it really sucks for Arpaigo, but hey, hopefully this will help it out a little bit now. Next up playing is going to be the next 2 roamers, which will be Duskit. I guess we'll talk about first. Where is it? There we are. So for Duskit, I'm giving it Spare. There you are, PvP guys, you're welcome. I know, there you are, absolute spare. No, this will probably be useful, like, really helpful for all the hunters, like the Gleam hunters. So now we don't have to, like, carry a Duskit and, like, a Trumbull. As you can see, my party have Duskit and Trumbull with Spare. Even though Duskit's going to get Spare, I'm probably still going to run Trumbull anyway, because Trumbull just has the hardest hitting Spare in the game. I mean, with that that monstrous melee tech stat and that Battle Horn as well. So I'm still going to carry Trumbull, but Spare will be nice to have on Duskit as well. All of that, though, is going to get Shadow Sprints, which doesn't really sound too useful, but it'll help it for stuff like Your Soul, I guess, right now, and potentially the other Spirit type Revenant that outspeeds you, so you can actually hit them if you want to run them. Duskit will eventually get more presence for a melee attack variant, but right now I think it just has like Phantom Slash and now Shadow Sprint. It hasn't got Cerebral Slash yet, that'll most likely be a level up move eventually, so still lacking a little bit for the Duskit for like the melee side, but it'll eventually get more later down the line. But Shadow Sprint, I guess, can hopefully help it out a little bit, so there's that, I guess. And last but not least, we have Mutagon, which is going to get Quick Punch. So how Duskit got Shadow Sprint, Mutagon's getting the Quick Punch, which will actually be really, really useful for Mutagon. Frost Punch is really, really nice as always, but I mean, with like how a lot of water types in the game, I feel like it can use some priority, so I feel like most people might drop Frost Punch. Maybe Mega Punch if they don't want Mega Punch, but I feel like they'll probably just run like 2 Brawler moves and Telekinetic Sweep, because those are just still really, really good moves anyway. But yeah, that might sound scary. For Mutagon, I mean, it has a really, really good melee attack stat with a super good ability that increases slapping and punching moves. Mega Punch, Frost Punch, Sweep, Telekinetic Sweep is a slap, and Quick Punch is another punch, so it will get boosted as well, so it's going to be like a really good like priority move for Mutagon. But they still have like things in the game that are like immune to brawlers, like you got your Revenant, your Soul. Vesperato's not going to change. Vesperato's going to still love this, just easily swap into Mutagon, so not going to absolutely break Mutagon, but I was going to help Mutagon out a little bit, because it has been like struggling a little bit. Like it's meant to be like the offensive Loomian that might be like wall breaking, but for like quicker Loomians, it kind of really struggles against them, so hopefully this will help it out a little bit. And yeah, with that being said though, that is all of the rally moves, so hopefully you guys enjoyed. Let me know what you think about them in the comments down below, and like always, I'll see you guys next time.